man. Hey, get your. Hey, what's up, people? It's Richard Provost. Let me make sure. Let me say here. Hey, you fucking bastards. Quit dang-langing me, man. I don't want to be cold. Oh, let me make sure. Let me say here. Dumb son of a bitch. What I was gonna do is go over some divorce stuff. Went through this in the past, going through it now. I gotta get my Johnny bootlegger. Get me a little bit, unwind here. What I was gonna do is go over some divorce stuff. Went through this in the past, going through it now. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? I'm sorry, you can hear that shit in the Bizac. Yeah. So what I'm saying is we go with the divorce stuff. There's not a person that have a problem with this. I got to take some notes. Yo, this is RJP with the place to be. I went to St. So I got some Boopakaki Johnny Bootlegger. But anyway, what I wanted to touch on base today is divorce and how you beat them. Here's your chocolate. Right here, young buddy. Right here. You can hit me if you want to. You can hit me if you want to. I ain't got a damn thing leaks. But anyway, what I wanted to go over let me go back and get my notes here. Oh, bullshit. I like that. And probably the sneakiest is the joint petition for a divorce. Probably, I say that's the sneakiest, most corrupt tactic used in a divorce. Is a joint petition. Joint petition makes both spouse co-petitioner in a no fault divorce. Well, the trick they like pulling, the second time I'm seeing this, is they give the one spouse the opportunity to bring false allegations. Now you got to remember what allegations are. You cannot bring allegations into court. For one, you always have to show evidence. I don't give a shit. People like, oh, you can take a case into court with just witnesses. They can testify against. No, there has to be. The only time that witnesses can testify is when evidence is presented to them while they're testifying. If there is no evidence, number one, they can't legally testify. Number two, if they do testify and there's no evidence, it's hearsay. So when there's no evidence, it's strictly hearsay, and strictly hearsay, whatever you want to say, is not submittable in court. It doesn't matter if it's a police officer testifying, CPS, a doctor, If there's no evidence presented, then it's hearsay. And it doesn't matter if Donald Trump gets on the damn stand. It's like, get off the stand. But anyway, so that's what they like to use is so let me see. Sorry, people, I got a buzz going here. And I don't even drink. That's the So again, yeah, so a no-fault divorce. So a joint petition that makes both spouses co-petitioner in a no-fault divorce. It's already decided. I want this shit. You prick. You bitch. You can suck my ass. Take this. I'll take that. You can have the car. I get to take my dogs. And you can have your shotguns. You can stick the shotguns up your ass. So what spouse gets? What's and the people think that when you go to court, it's either they always say that the woman gets screwed over, or it's the man. No. It depends. What it depends on in these divorces or any case is if one spouse is connected to corruption, if they're connected into law enforcement, are they connected into judges, CPS, attorneys, the prosecutor's office, then you have a problem. Or one spouse has the money and able to pay off the court. So it's not, there's no percentage of male, female of who gets screwed out the most. There's not really a percentage because it depends on those two factors. Either they're connected into corruption, money, they got a bunch of money, or both. And if you're broke like a joke, when I got a divorce, the judge is just like, all right, you want to get a divorce? Fuck yeah. Okay, get the fuck out of me. Get the hell out of here. Right. So, so what else was going to go? So, up here in Pleasants County, my ex-girlfriends, I was able to shut that court down. Adulteries, because usually they know I whipped their asses in Wood County, so they went completely around adultery. They didn't want me no part of a case, girlfriend's case. But anyway, so again, you have to have tangible evidence, physical evidence. Tangible evidence is like you could see, touch, feel, like photographs. So adultery without evidence, I mean, it is so hard to prove. You cannot go into court man, woman, whatever, and say, oh, well, I got out, my husband was sleeping around. Well, you got to provide evidence, not just hearsay. Hearsay evidence, again, is not submittable in court. In which this is, we're going to go over forgery. I got to go over stuff because I got a little buzz here. Basically, when you're married, there's no such thing as forgery, so you got to remember that. And like, again, where it's go lay down. I am so tired of talking to you. My daughter, come here. My daughter, Rosa. Every time I do a live, she wants to go out. And you were just out there. Oh, don't even act like you're squirming like a swarming. But she's in heat, so she wants out there to get some ding-a-ling. You know what I mean? So, what was I saying? So, but this is what happens. When one spouse wants to keep everything and the other spouse has no money, sometimes not. So, I mean, if it's equally balanced to where both spouses have the money, then the courts, they're not going to be a rigged hearing. No, usually not. Whoa, I got buzz like cuz like was. Hey, man, shove that horn up your ass. Fucking go around here thinking like an asshole. Who is that? All right. Where was I, you bastards? So, yeah, again, there's no such thing as forgery when you're married. No. Well, so what I'm seeing again with another friend, of course, I'm not going to bring up nobody's name because it's nobody else's business. The laws are basically, they put the laws in different ways. The definitions, every definitions or whatever to confuse you. Unlike me, I have a high comprehension for law and I understand what they're stating. So basically, any and all accounts open during marriage, they're either joint accounts or joint separate account. That's what that means. Joint means that they are both equally owned by both spouses. Both spouses either spouse do not have to get the other spouse's permission to withdraw money. All right. And there's a lot of this marital embezzlement bullshit flying around. Again, another friend is going through this. If there is no prenuptial agreement, it makes all checking and savings accounts, cars, assets, homes, vehicles, whatever acquired during marriage, anything, yeah. So if there's no prenuptial agreement, everything's marital property owned by both spouses. It has to be divided during divorce. I'm just going over this simplistically. You cannot steal your own money. And if it's a separate joint account, I mean, of course, you want to get permission from your spouse to get it, but it's not embezzlement. No. And embezzlement is a white-collar crime. It'd be federal, it would be circuit. But in this case, in cases, one spouse would have to file. Now, this is West Virginia and Ohio and other places. It should be the same as But you have to file a civil theft claim in the circuit court before you file a divorce. But first, before you even file a civil theft claim in the circuit court, or have a forensic accounting investigation, see where this money went, there has to be a prenuptial agreement in place. Again, if there's no prenuptial agreement in place, there's no separation agreement, then all the assets, all the joint accounts, or anything acquired during a marriage, acquired, checking and savings accounts, cars, whatever it may be, is all marital property, joint marital property, everything owned by both spouses. Right. So, if there is, so they can't even start a I'm sorry, I buzzed a little bit. So and that's what they do. And also in a no-fault divorce, some states are strictly no-fault, and under all states' provisions, stops one spouse from bringing allegations against another spouse that they have done illegally or something dirty they have done during marriage. Because people think this is the problem is that everybody thinks that one court has jurisdiction over all cases. People believe that like the marital embezzlement, there's no jurisdiction in family court. Bankruptcy, everybody believes that has jurisdiction in family court, and it does not. Oh, here's a good thing too. So if you got a corrupt attorney, that like the marital embezzlement. So if you have a dirty attorney, and they have actually done their job, that's different to pay them. But if your attorney is not doing shit, the best thing you can do, if you have all these big illegal legal fees, is you get them wrote off under Chapter 7. Discharged in, a month or less. And because as long as it's not attached to like utility bills, legal fees, credit cards, or unsecured debts, they're not attached to property. Secured debts is what attached to property, which is like homes, cars, or whatever. And the judge, if you have, say, credit cards, it only holds the other spouse liable if there's both signatures are on the agreement of the credit card. The only time that a spouse may be required to pay this shit if it's on a separation agreement. If the separation agreement says, I, John Doe, agree, will help pay for my ex-wife or ex-husband's credit card fees. And this is the shit that they'll pull too in a divorce. We'll say like Chapter 7 bankruptcy or unsecured debit card has put a lien on the marital home, which is completely false. Oh, my damn dog. The only thing you got to do, if you don't believe what I'm stating, especially with the credit card stuff, call your bank, because this is what happened to my ex-girlfriend. Of course, she didn't listen to that I said. She could have got back a lot more, but anyway, whatever. Not my fault. I'm not the one that got screwed over, so it don't matter to me no more. But I did it. But anyway, call your creditors. So if you're in a divorce, Because see how they put the unsecured debts and then secured debts? It's basically opposite. They'll say that credit cards put a lien on your home, unpaid debit cards. No, because credit cards are not a secured debt. They have to be a secured debt, which you would have to be behind on your mortgage. And if you're behind on your mortgage, you can get a freaking extension. And so, like I said, the laws are so screwed up. And then you have attorneys collaborating with each other and the judge. And the judge has no authority to change. A family court judge does not have the authority to change an agreement. Oh, well, you got to pay for that bit your bitch's debts. No, he doesn't have the authority. It has to be on a separation agreement. So again, if there is no prenuptial agreement, is what you come into the divorce with. Bitch, I got $1 million. Dickhead, I got $1 million. That's mine. Sign this prenup. And that's where you see all these billionaires, millionaires dating these poor people and saying, marrying these poor people and say, hey, you're going to sign this prenup. I got $200 trillion in the bank. This is what I came into. I'm going to be making millions of dollars when we're married, right? But you're going to sign this prenup basically stating that, yeah, that was my money that came, this car, this checking account, this savings account is mine before we got married. It was not acquired during the marriage. They sign it, then you're safe. But again, if there's no prenuptial agreement, it makes houses, cars, assets, whatever, joint marital property. So, and again, what this dude, I got to repeat myself, people don't listen, is that just have you go through, you got this dirty attorney not doing nothing. So in a no-fault divorce, we'll just bring this up real quick, is that you don't have to hire an attorney if you're the one that's filed first. So, anything during a divorce, if the other spouses bring these allegations, they got to prove them. Allegations is allegations. It's still strictly hearsay when it falls under strictly hearsay, due process. Blah. I'm just trying to break it down simple with a buzz. So I didn't forget anything. So again, any and all accounts open during marriage, or it's either joint or it's joint separate accounts, checking and savings, but jointly owned by both spouses. If they want to say that you embezzled money, stole from whatever, well, then you would say, okay, then I want to see a premarital agreement. They don't got a premarital agreement, shuts it out. Say, there is none. I didn't steal. These are joint. These are all counts, blah, 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 like I just said, or joint separate. And it doesn't matter if we got like a joint separate account or a joint account and say one spouse puts in $1 million in it, in a joint account. That doesn't matter. And one spouse puts nothing in the account. That doesn't matter. It doesn't matter who put what, a joint separate or a joint account or accounts. It's both equally owned by both spouses. Both have equal access. Basically, like I said, is that one spouse does not have to get permission for the other spouse to withdraw money. Of course, you want to, if you want to keep your marriage, your marriage to last, you want to say, hey, I want to go and get a pack of dildos, and okay, that's fine. But even if you do not even ask permission, it's still not theft. It's still not marital embezzlement. No, because you cannot steal your own money. So again, if they want to say that you embezzled money in a divorce, there has to be a prenuptial agreement. Before they can even conduct a forensic accounting investigation, there has to be a prenuptial agreement. If there's no prenuptial agreement, it makes anything acquired during marriage marital property. Fact, not fiction. So, family court has no jurisdiction on bankruptcy because it's federal, or civil theft. If it's civil theft claim, that circuit court, and they got to file it. So when it comes to marital embezzlement or something like that, the family court, divorce court do not have any jurisdiction over those cases. And a lot of people believe that any court can see any case, whether it's no, it's not the way it works. So let me think, is there anything else? If I think of anything else, then I'll be back like a heart attack. This is Richard Provost, Fight for Freedom, #1 news source, counter news source, you fucks. I'll be back later. Anybody got any questions or comments, you can contact me here on Facebook. It don't matter. I get fatter. I got more rhymes than the Mad Hatter. Whatever. But I need to get off this mother. Anybody got any questions or something I haven't covered? If I remember it, then I'll do another live. But anyway, love, peace to all. Don't back down, fight for freedom, throat punch. If we got to throat punch people. Start throat. See, look, I can't even talk straight. Throat punch people. But anyways, Richard Provost, Fight for Freedom, West Virginia, #1 counter news source. Be back later with my